With the tragic loss of life that happened at the Astroworld Festival, I think it's time that we go over some of the rules that an artist must know in order to be a good performer. We go on live from the underground. What a live edition of Live from the Underground, where we talk about a particular topic for about half an hour or so. And today's topic is one that's been circulating all over the internet, something that's been well documented up until this point. Talking about Travis Scott and this Astroworld fiasco that happened, for those of you who don't know. There's the Astroworld Festival that was supposed to be going down, and somewhat of a riot happened while in between that Travis Scott egged on, as he usually does for all of his performances and stuff. It's just, in this case, his luck ran out, I guess, where 8 people died because they were trampled over, and I think over 300 people were injured. And the fallout of this is continually coming in as we see. And here's the thing. A lot of people were pointing the blame at Travis Scott, in which, yes, he deserves the brunt of the blame because this is what he does. This is what he's always been doing. Now, he equates it as this is how he put people come to his shows to see. People want to have like the mosh pit, the high energy, the feeling of anything can go and you can do whatever you want to do, like some rock star type stuff. But there are certain rules in which people do, especially when it comes to mosh pits and things of that nature. Like, for those of you who have examples of a bunch of people that have thrown mosh pits, that have had these high energy type of performances where they will stop the show. They will stop the show if someone deems to be getting hurt. If something is not happening the way they need it to happen, if someone falls down, can't get up, so that they don't get trampled on and such. If the performer or security or anybody sees that, they will stop the show so that they can go help that person. If the ambulance happens to be and passes out as a performer, it's not a well-written rule. It's not something that everyone knows, but this is the common sentence, that this is a common thing that you must do. You must stop the show to make sure that they're okay, because especially if you're the performer, you're liable. If this is your festival, as it is Travis Scott's, you're liable. Anybody that's behind that, you're liable. That's why the individuals from not only Travis Scott is getting sued, but Drake is getting sued. What's his name? Rock Nation, Jay-Z's record label, is getting sued for this too. And it's because of how the festival ended up. Like, and it's a sad thing, like Travis Scott, he's known for being a wild performer. He's known for making people bring the energy, for the hype, the super hype. And he was doing what he normally does. It's just, it's always been unsafe. Like when you egg on your audience as he does, telling people, you know, to sneak people in who's being wild, forget what security is saying. What else does he be saying? See, he deleted a whole bunch of the putting out there. It's hard, but ultimately, he eggs on people ridiculously so that he can continue with what he's known for. And I'm not absolutely mad at that. A lot of people have their own calling card. A lot of people have their own way that they which people come to see. But when everything has to go to the side, that's an important rule. That's rule number one, to be real, so that not only everyone can have a safe and fun time, but so liability and you won't get sued, and ultimately what happened in Astroworld will not happen. You as a performance to give the people what they want to see, to deliver the energy that they want, everything that they come to see your performance for, you deliver that all the way up until a T. Because when people get triggered, when people begin to do, it's like when I play Street Fighter. There'll be moments where I can't help myself but getting super angry. Like, I'm not a super angry person all the time, but yet when things don't go my way and I'm caught up in the moment, then I will get frustrated and I will end up losing matches because of it. I'll end up losing my cool. I'll start cussing out loud and things of that nature. Things that I really don't want to be doing all the way 100, but I will do it because I'm caught up in the moment. Same thing with your audience. When your audience is caught up in the moment of the hot songs that they've been wanting to hear from you all the way, but now they get to see it live and direct, and your songs happen to be super energetic as well, like, people will lose their mind. People will do things that they normally would not do. And it's all in the interest of fun until 8 people get trampled and 8 people die. And from the reports and from what I've been seeing from the reports is the ambulance and medics were trying to get in to get to these people who were down on the ground that they heard about. Travis Scott kept performing. That's a no-no, dog. Everything has to stop. Because now you look like you don't care. And personally, I think Travis Scott cares. I know. I mean, I would assume Travis Scott cares about his audience, that he doesn't want to see death and destruction that happens at his venues and things of that nature. I'm sure he does not want this kind of thing to happen. But he pushes it to the edge because that's what he's known for. That's how his audience has fun. That's what these people come to expect. If he didn't push it all the way to the edge, people would go home and be disappointed. People would be frustrated with it. But that's the thing. You have to push it. If you're going to push it, then you push it up until the line where you see people. Like, he saw the saying that Travis Scott actually looked and seen a person have a cardiac arrest. He saw someone. People saw that he looked directly at a person who had cardiac arrest, and then he kept playing. Now, in the grand scheme of performing, you are supposed to keep performing no matter what. Like, if you forget your lyrics, you keep performing no matter what. If something happens that isn't supposed to happen, like the musicians that's playing your music plays the wrong way, the DJ, he loses track of the production and all that, like where most people will be like, hey, sound man, you messing up my sound man. That's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to let them know, but you keep performing so that the performance so people will get what they want out of the performance up until a T. And this T is when people were getting hurt, when something is going wrong with the crowd. If you see somebody having cardiac arrest, you stop. This is the rules that they don't really teach you. They really don't show you. Like when record labels sign an individual, they will put you through training. They will put you through, what is it called? You will have to do sound checks. You will have to practice. They will show you how to put on the best kind of performance that you can. Like when you see individuals like the Locks from the Versus battle, how you saw how they were controlling the crowd. That's the difference between amateur, in which what you see from Travis Scott, where everything he does in terms of crowd control is amateurish, but yet it works because it's hype, and that's what he's really here to hype up the crowd. It's not so much controlling the crowd. But how the Locks do it, all three of them hit the front of the stage. The middle one happens to be the one who's rapping, whether it's Jadakiss, Sheek Louch, Styles P, doesn't matter. And then they will swap places depending on whose turn it is. But yet the other two are background hype men helping complete the verses where you lose breath. They come in and say what you were supposed to say on point because they've been practicing. They are technically outstanding performers and crowd control as well, because none of this happened in the versus battle, because when they were getting hyped and amped up, going up against going up against Dipset, when they started crowding the stage, you notice they stopped the music. They stopped the performance. Everyone has to get off this stage or else this stage is going to collapse. And we want to give you the best show possible, but yet we have to make sure that you're okay. So you have to get off the stage. So they postponed the show for like a solid 20, 30 minutes trying to get these ignorant people off the stage. So that what we see in what we seen in Astroworld didn't happen in the versus battle. There was a performance that happened a while ago where the stage actually did collapse, and it was I forget the name of the actual rapper that it actually happened to. But he was coming out on stage with his entire crew of like 30 people, and he was a heavy set rapper, and the stage just gave way and everybody fell through, and the show was over. You didn't pay attention to safety regulations of how many people should be on this stage, how hype you should get this audience so that no one gets hurt. You get them hype, but you understand and you keep track of exactly how hype these people, like going back to the Dipset versus the Locks. Like when they started getting super amped on some, this could be beef because the Locks is the visiting team coming through disrespecting Dipset like they did, and people starting to get upset, they paused. Like, hey, this is all love. This is all for the music. We came in beforehand saying that we're gonna get chippy. It ain't even all that serious. We just having fun on this stage. Everybody needs to cool out. And then they go right back to it, continuing the show, continuing to be super ignorant and all of that stuff. But yet, for that moment, they calm down the animosity, they calm down the crowd so people can continue to have an enjoyable experience. This is important for individuals who want to be performers. This is important for you to understand. You have to gauge the interest of the audience. It's a lot like, okay, for a while, I helped throw parties here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and some of my parties be some of the hypest. I'm not even going to front to you, but not all of them be hype. Some of them have to get to that point where they can become hype. And how my homie does it, he's a DJ. He reads the crowd and the response to certain things. To play particular genres back to back to back. He will jump from genre to genre because he's a well-versed individual in music, much like I am. He will jump from trap music to to Afro beats, to Caribbean, to soca, to you name it, like genre to genre to genre to genre, and then not even genre to genre, he'll jump from time period to time period as well. He does all of this while gauging the audience and the response. And when he finds the particular sound, whether it's 90s New York era sound, because there's a bunch of New York individuals that's in the crowd, or whether it's 2000s Laffy Taffy, like, I ain't gonna call it trap music, but the bubblegum 2000s commercial music, it doesn't matter. He got such a playlist that once he finds what the crowd is into, he got a lot of hits for them. And not only does he have the hits, but he also has the scratching. He has the ability to make it into an enjoyable experience. He just has to find what these people want to listen to. And it's all coming down to gauging your audience. So Travis Scott, what he needed to do was to gauge his audience to see exactly how to hype them up, as he already knows how to hype them up. But when they get too hype, he needs to see the tell signs to stop. Tell signs to stop, to pause, to make sure people is all right is one, if they begin to rush the stage, begin to try to climb up on stuff, that's when you pause. Because when people rush, people tend to trip. It's a lot like in football. In football, a lot of people, when they begin to run towards the end zone, you see a lot of them trip over themselves and just fall without no one touching them. That happens a lot. You do not want your crowds to be running. You want them to be you want them to be where they need to be and to be enjoying the music how they are enjoying it. Now, fights in most hip hop situations is not the way you want it to go. If you see a fight breaking out, if anybody has animosity, pushing, shoving, stop the music. Hey, chill out. Chill out. Y'all back there. I see y'all about to scrap. Y'all need to chill, or I'm not going to play the music no more. What are y'all doing? That's what you got to do. Now, but it's different in terms of Travis Scott, because he creates mosh pits, much like how they do in the rock and roll, the heavy metal. You can control a mosh pit, though. Like, mosh pits are usually right in front, in the middle of the stage. Like, you can see it from the stage. You can see the mosh pit. You can see people bumping and pushing and all that. And if somebody just hauls off and swings on somebody and he drops, whoa, stop the show. Hold up. Let them get up. What is y'all doing? Don't still off on my mans like that. Y'all can mosh. Y'all can mosh. I'm okay with moshing, but don't still off on dude like that, dude. That ain't cool. Let the man up. Let him up. Is he all right? Get that man some milk. You can make jokes. You feel me? There's a lot of levels to it to make it still enjoyable. But yet you have to pause to make sure that dude is okay. You got stole off on, man. You shouldn't even be in the mosh pit if you're gonna get stole off on like that, fam. What is the matter with you? Get him up out of here. You understand? There are ways to control moshing and fighting, just like there are ways to control the audience from rushing the stage and things of that nature. There's ways to control people from fighting and shooting in the club too. But you as the performer have to be to the forefront. You can't just sit there and like, security need to be on their job. Yes, security definitely needs to be on their job to help prevent all of this from happening. It's a team job though. This is teamwork. If the performers and the security is on one accord, then everything can work out the way that it needs to do. But security has to be good too. Like, I've come across a lot of crappy security over my years of doing performances. You feel me? There's been a lot of crappy security that what they do is they egg on people. They push people on so that they can have the right to fight somebody and to kick them out the club. That's not how you want them. That's not the type of security that you want. I've also seen security that try to be all touchy-feely to women and stuff that be in line because they get to pat people down. I've seen that too. And you got to check these people as well. Like, you cannot have terrible security or else it's going to mess with your audience coming through to try to have a good time. They won't be coming back if security is harassing and all that. But if security needs to be at this particular venue as it needed to be right here for this Travis Scott Astroworld, they need to be in tune and to know outright that this audience is going to be rowdy. This audience is going to try to rush the stage. They're going to try to do a lot of crazy stuff. So they needed to be more prepared than what they were. Like, I saw in the news, like, a security guard saying that he was stabbed with somewhat of an opioid, and he not overdosed, but had to go to the hospital for a possible overdose because that's something that they brought in. And one, that's on security. How is you letting in people with opioids and stuff like that? A shiv filled with some kind of opioid that can be stabbed in the. How is you letting that happen? That's on security. But two, you need to protect yourself at all. Like, if they begin to rush or whatever, the performance act has to work in one accord with security in order to calm things down so that everyone can get home safe. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Having a ton of people all in one venue, nothing goes wrong in a lot of these other places, it's still dangerous. Like, let's look at the Lion King. Mufasa got killed because a whole bunch of, zebras or something, was marching and he fell in the middle of it. Same concept. A lot of people running will tremble any kill people. That is always possible in venues that have a lot of people. If a gunshot goes off, I was in a club where it seemed like a gunshot went off, but what it was some hating dudes who dislike the parties that we throw or something. They set off fireworks. They set off a firecracker in the middle of the club. Music cut off, and everybody started running. Actual shots went off, and some people fell. People running to try to get away. But see, the venue was so small, there was a lot of people there, but nobody got hurt, thank God. A lot of people just got rushed, but it'd be stupid stuff like that people can do that can hurt people. You understand? But it's ultimately important to follow these rules in order so you don't got to get sued like Drake, Travis Scott, like all the people that was there, man. Like, some of them were like, oh, okay, I'm donating all the money that I got from this to all of the family, so please don't come after me type stuff. And due to this, the whole second day of the festival got canceled, where it was going to be another hype one too, because it had 21 Savage, Chief Keef, and Young Thug was going to be there. And when you look at it like that too, man, like the liability of it, like he could literally get charged and go to jail. Like looking at how America is towards black people. Oh, this Travis Scott can definitely see jail time here. Even though there has been many of cases where things like this have happened and they never really put artists and stuff in jail for it. But for your black ass, they will make an exception for you and throw you directly behind bars, dude. Especially when, like, you see the police and all of that trying to come out and cover their own ass. The Houston police chief coming out saying that we warned Travis Scott based on how rowdy his crowd was that this could possibly happen. They usually do they. But they saying that so that they don't get blamed and all of the blame can go to Travis Scott. And as I said, he is deserving of a lot of the blame. But if the police was doing security, how did somebody get shivved in the how did a security officer, somebody, I don't know if it was a police officer or not, but how did they get shivved with an opioid, some kind of opioid? If y'all was doing y'all job, that never would have made it in now, wouldn't it? But the fact that they didn't stop the show, it kept going when people were dying. Oh, that's not going to go well, bro. Like, it doesn't matter how many apologies you show up and do on IG. It's not going to help. All the damage has been done. Kylie Jenner's catching some of that fire too. Like, her response was more of like not understand, like she said, OMG, I literally can't. Like, people are taking that as, okay, she wanted to have a good time or whatever. Like, she was more focused on the unfortunate nature of her good time is getting ruined outside of the fact that someone just died and people been getting at her for that, and she had to turn off her comments and all of that stuff in order to get the hounds off her. But she deserves. I mean, she posted something that was not well thought out at a tragic time. You understand? And then, you know, the whole cancel Travis Scott thing started jumping all over the Twitter, all over the internet. And it's more because they started showing individuals like Linkin Park who will stop the show because somebody is getting hurt in the mosh pit or somebody collapsed or some. And then you got other people saying, yo, Travis Scott kept performing when somebody literally was getting killed out on the stretcher. He kept singing like people saw that. That's terrible optics. Terrible optics. And the fact that he has a history of doing this, not so much letting people die, but he has a history of having having super rowdy crowds and not caring about the safety of the people there and just going through with the show regardless of what happens out there. Like, and that's more amateur than anything. Like, he's showing how bad an amateur can deal with things when they have this kind of power. I think honestly he didn't know that he should have shut off everything and have the crowd and everybody go in there and help people. He's trying to go off of the direction of, as the performer, I need to keep going no matter what, because the audience, that's what they're here to do. That's what they're here for. That's the direction in which he tries to, it seems as though he's trying to go with it, which is a super amateur-ish way, and you can't go in that way when you have millions of fans and you got thousands of people in attendance. It's your responsibility to help these people to get to where they need to be, to help people be successful. What up, Ben? Ben says he's late, but there's so much to discuss about this event. I got some rounds, but this is your soapbox. No, go ahead. Hit what you got to say, bro. Hit me with the real, because I'm about done. Like, it's just a messed up thing, man. It's messed up all the way around. And Travis Scott needs, and I'm trying to, this is what I did, Ben, for this one. I'm giving the people the rules in which you need to abide by for you to be a performer, regardless of if you have one person in attendance or you got thousands of people in attendance. You have to follow particular rules in order for people to get home safe. Rule number 1 is for you to perceive what's going on with the crowd. Now, this goes in multiple different directions. Like, if you need the crowd to get hype, understand what they here to listen to, provide them what that is, get them hype, give them the best entertainment that you want them for, give them the best performance that you can possibly do. But then there's a line. The line is when you you have to see people if they're getting hurt, if anything is going wrong with the crowd, if security is not acting right. You have to see what's going on and be prepared to stop the music so that things can go better, so that people won't get hurt in the mosh pit, so that people can get, so that security is not tripping on people as they need to be, or that the crowd isn't stomping people and stuff. You have to perceive what's going on with your crowd, with your audience at that moment, and then determine the proper use, the proper way in order to work. As Ben says, well, one, Travis Scott is clearly, he is guilty, at least for allowing an event for apt ages, but no mandatory rule to have underage. Have no rule to have underage people with an adult to have with them. Now, I didn't know that wasn't a thing, like, because it was a festival. As a festival with people that's of 18-year-old and older. Like, yeah, you definitely should have. Like, there definitely should have been a company adult for the caliber of music that's getting played here at the festival. I feel you with that. But I'm not going to say that there hasn't been festivals before in the past that have gone off without a hitch that has had this type of content at a festival. You feel me? Like, this isn't anything that's outside of the norm of something that couldn't have been done well. It's just Travis Scott is an amateur performer that allowed things to happen that he had the ability to didn't, because he didn't know what was going on. Like, I do agree with you that maybe it could have been better here if he had, if adults had to accompany minors. I agree with you. That wasn't a necessary thing here. Like, I remember I went to Cash Money and the Rough Riders tour. That was like one of my first one of my first shows that I went to as a youngin'. You feel me? And I went with my parents, but I got away from my parents at that time, and I had fun on my own with my brothers for this whole event. You feel me? And we didn't get hurt. We didn't rush the stage or nothing. We came down the steps and we was with the people and we enjoyed ourselves. But we were like the crowd control of Cash Money and all of them were pretty tight. It was pretty tight. Security was pretty tight as well. You feel me? But it comes down to the professionalism. Like, the fact that Travis Scott the liability is going to hit him tenfold. So he is guilty, but I don't think he's guilty of inciting a riot. I think he's guilty of, well, I mean, that's what they're going to hit him with. They're going to hit him with inciting a riot. And I don't know exactly how much time you're going to get for him inciting a riot in Houston. But I think he's guilty of recklessness and abandonment. Ben says that 3 of his former managers is speaking on him for supposedly leaving him years ago in a basement while his manager had a seizure. Ooh, I never even heard of that one. That sucks. And supposedly someone was pricking people with a substance. So this isn't anything new. Cause folks to hallucinate and bug out. They suing him and Drake. They on him heavy. Ooh. And that's on security though too, man. Like, security, how is you letting people in with this? How is that on Travis Scott that these people are getting into these venues with these things? Like, if this has been happening consistently, then they should know off the rip, like, kind of what to look for, don't they? Yeah, I saw, as Ben says, that 2 of the 8 that died were underage. I saw one of them was 16. Which, that's sad, man. That's mad sad. Like, your whole life was ahead of you. And because you wanted to go have a good time at a Travis Scott concert, man, that your life comes to an end. Like, that's... And it, because of negligence on every level, from the police ain't getting, like, as much as they trying to throw everything on Travis Scott. If they were doing their job, people wasn't going to get in with this stuff. But Travis Scott holds just as much of the blame. Like, the city needs to get sued too. That's what I'm saying is the city needs to be held accountable for this as well. But the thing is, the city, because of the history of Travis Scott, the city is going to try to put it all on Travis Scott on top of possible charges. You feel me? And I'm not saying that he's not deserving of it, given the story that you just told me and how this has consistently been happening, and they clearly haven't been doing much. Not only Travis Scott, but his staff and everybody around it kept that shit going. Yeah, y'all deserving of this, but the city needs to get held accountable of this too, because y'all was doing some security. Police was there. Y'all saying that we warned them. How is How is you warning the artists when you the security? How is that? How is you warning the artists, alleviating the fact that you are at blame here too? Like, you are definitely to fault here too, the city of Houston. And the cases need to get thrown on you as well. You going down with this. You're going down with Travis Scott. As much as they don't want to, they going down with him too. And I would like to know a little more details about the those who died in the incident. You feel me? Like, this is really, really sad. You feel me? Overall, to sum things up, because I got like a couple more things I need to do today. You feel me? But to sum things up, as an artist, you are responsible for your audience when they show up to your venue. These are grown adults, yes. Some, for not in this case, because there was a lot of children. There's nothing but grown adults. You still have your own, you have liability towards grown adults, especially if it's children. It's important for you as a performer, especially you as a performer. You are overlooking everything that's going on. You have to keep your eyes out for the bullshit. For the nonsense. You got to keep your eyes open for the nonsense that's going on and be prepared to stop the show if anything bad is going on. Not only crowd and the audience, but with everyone that's on stage with you too. Because if you guys remember, the Lil Boosie was on tour with the Kings of Trap, or whatever the name, with Jeezy and WAP and all of them. They was on tour, and his entourage got into a fight on stage, and Boosie didn't do nothing, but Boosie really put himself into it, and it continued. The fight continued, and and that's what got him kicked off of the performances and stuff. It kind of messed up Boosie all the way, messed up his money, and it messed up the show and the city trying to sue him for it. So you have to be aware of your people too. You got to make sure that they cool, who's on your stage with you, that they ain't tripping out. Now, if somebody tries to rush the stage, that's what your people on stage is to do, to stop that. But that's one thing that I really don't like as well, when the entourage and security of an individual artist tackles the person that tries to get up on stage. Like, you could borderline hurt somebody with that. They should know better than to get on stage with individual artists and all that stuff. But if you hurt them, that's probably still gonna come up out of your pocket, even though they were in the wrong to being on the stage. You can kick somebody off without hurting them. As Ben is saying, by watching the video, you can hear the crowd just telling him to stop the show while the ambulance was driving to get to the people. And some people were dancing on top of the ambulance. Oh my God. That's... Again, that's amateur Travis Scott not knowing an emergency situation when he sees one and how to respond to it. Like, and the fact that this has happened over and over and over to the point that they saying that they trying to cancel him for it and all that stuff, it does borderline go borderline. It is complete negligence. But it borders line. Do you actually care about your fans? Do you actually care about the people? Are you there for your own ego, to put on your own performance, to make all of your money and to have fun? Or are you there to put on a safe performance and then get everything else out of it? Raise up these questions. Like, coming through with the receipts, fam. Ben is coming through with the receipts. Like all of the cases that's coming, man, is going to be, this has the ability to wipe out one of the biggest artists of this time period right now in Travis Scott. You feel me? Like, how much of the label do you think is going to try to put up money to back it? You feel me? Like, Travis Scott makes millions of dollars and all that stuff, man. But there comes a point where, like, the liability becomes way too much based on your negligence that a label will not back you. And labels have backed artists doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like how labels have backed, what's his name? Like Ray Charles. How when they was backing, the labels backed Ray Charles when he kept getting caught for drugs, trafficking it. Labels backed him up and down when he turned into full-fledged junkie. Labels, they don't care as long as you making a lot of money, you feel me? But there comes a point where the liability is way too great and the payouts are going to be way deemed worth having for you. So all of this can fall directly into Travis Scott's lap. And they say, nah, we're not going to cover that. And this could be the last that we see of Travis Scott, to be real. When them lawsuits and stuff he's going to need to get money, but who's going to go ahead and bring you in to do more shows? If this is the type of liability that they have to look for, like potentially people dying? Nah, like, Travis Scott is going to have to make do off of album sales if he doesn't see the inside of a jail for his negligence. In which I think he should see, like, because he has a history of such negligence, they might make an example out of him, dude. This could be the last that we really see Travis Scott. That is within the realm of possibility here. And why? Because he didn't know the rules. Or he knew the rules and he didn't care about the rules. He didn't understand the possible fallout that can come from this. Like, we're all but one mistake away from our professional careers and everything about it, everything that we do just falling apart, falling in shambles. We're all one mistake away. It's like, not long ago, my cousin got hit by a drunk driver, in which this drunk driver had a record. You feel me? He was on probation and all this stuff. One mistake away, that man had to go back to jail. Look at Henry Ruggs from the NFL. He was showing promise as a potential top wide receiver deep threat in the NFL. He was doing his thing, got drunk one night, drove home, tried to get home, ended up hitting somebody doing 135 miles an hour and killed somebody, and they're going to make an example out of him. Now, given other athletes who were white got away with such things and didn't get the book thrown at them, but in this case, they're going to throw the book at Henry Ruggs. We are all one mistake away from everything falling apart. And that's the sad thing that Travis Scott is beginning to understand at this point. But I mean, that's not even the sad thing. Honestly, that's when you play with fire, you get burned. And that's exactly what he's been doing for all this time. He's been playing with fire. Nobody's been getting hurt. And he thought that that was just going to continue to happen. And now people finally did get hurt because of his negligence. And now he's going to get burned all the way. And it's sad that people had to die for him to learn this lesson. Why did people have to die for you to learn to not put on dangerous performances? Why did people have to die for this? We've seen it. There's been thousands upon thousands of performances from all types of genres, of all types of people that get rowdy and all of that stuff, man. From mosh pits and heavy metal to country acts that go all the way in. We see it with everybody, with every genre of music. You feel me? We've seen it. We've seen it go off without a hitch with all of these people. Why is it that Travis Scott couldn't learn from those lessons? You're a performer, right? You're an artist, right? These are the things that artists must learn in order to be successful at being an artist, right? It's part of the job. You can be passionate. You can love the way that the game goes. You feel me? Like, hey, I love the passion that Travis Scott does when he does performances and things of that nature. And that's why his audience comes to see it. That's why his audience enjoys that. That's why you come to see Travis Scott. But it's a job. And your job as an artist, as a performer, number one, is to make sure that everybody gets home safe. 2, put on the best show that you possibly can. Give the people what they want. 3, make sure that your entourage of people that's on stage are following following the rules that's needed in order for the show to actually continue on and be at its best. 4, make sure the staff and security is well behaved so that people can enjoy themselves without there being danger. And 5, I'm not going to put it on Travis Scott, but 5, security. You need good security. Security has to be able to spot and know these devices that's getting snuck into the club or getting snuck into places and prevent that from people getting shivved with drugs. You feel me? Like, security has to be better than that. But you follow these rules, then your performance should go off without a hitch. You should make your money. Everybody goes home safe. Everybody gets paid. At the end of the day, in performances, that's all we look for. Like, bro, I personally have been a part of hundreds of performances over the years. Not one time has anyone died. Literally hundreds. Bro, I would do 4 to 5 performances a weekend. When it was popping heavy before the pandemic and all that stuff. And I've been doing these performances. I was helping with these shows and these performances for it's been 8-9 years now. Hundreds of them. Not once have someone died. Not once. Now, there has been issues. As I told you, there was one club in particular where they set off fireworks inside the club because they was on my homie, pretty much. So they tried to cause somewhat of a riot like some assholes. There was some shooting that did happen in one hole-in-the-wall club, but this wasn't my club. I wasn't performing at this joint. I was being the bartender. I was a bartender. This was a super hood club that I was bartending at. And security said something to the wrong dude, and but never once in my kind of clubs, never once in my kinds of performances that I helped put on with my homies have there been anybody die. I have one time seen somebody take Xanax bars that they snuck into the club, and I guess the guy took too much and he tried to pass out in the club and he started throwing up and all of that stuff. And we helped that man. We got him some water. We got him the attention that he needed from, we didn't have ambulance or nothing there, but we got them people there in order to get him home safe and all of that stuff. We got him to his people. You feel me? Like, anything and everything can happen at performances. You can only be prepared but so much. But the more experience that you have, and the more you are aware of how liable you are of other people's safety, the better off things can be. Like, I'll tell you about one performance that we had. Brought an artist into Charlotte. Is an Afrobeat DJ that's like really known. The club was not prepared for this. Why was the club not prepared for it? One, it was crappy security. Well, I ain't gonna call them crappy security, but it's one of them security guards that they got too much ego. You feel me? They got more ego than actually trying to help people. So security ended up stopping the crowd from actually coming into the venue. And we ended up taking, we didn't take an L because of that, but we barely broke even because they didn't let half the crowd in because the security, you feel me? Because they wasn't trying to wait in line, they paid to already get in, and security is jamming up the works. They're not trying to let people in. They got frustrated, and security, being the jackasses that they are, they wouldn't let nobody in to the club. Sent everybody home. And I mean, as much as I dislike that, as much as they lost the money, but that's the kind of thing that you got to be willing to do for the safety of everybody involved. You feel me? Now, there was a lot of people outside. If they got in and they were all rowdy as they was outside, then people could have got hurt. But it wouldn't have happened that way if security wasn't being who they were being, if they weren't instigating the anger amongst the people, making them mad, pushing everything back. If everything was better organized, none of that would have had to happen in that direction. But I'm happy that it got shut down the way that it shut down and everybody still broke even. I'm happy for that instead of somebody actually getting hurt because security want to have their guns and all that stuff, and they think that they tough and all that stuff. Like, I'm happy it came to an end. Came to an end better than what the Travis Scott Astroworld came to an end. You feel me? But these are just some tales that I'm giving you because I'm not giving you these rules because I haven't seen it. I lived this. I've been a part of this. It's not on this level, of course. I'm not on Travis Scott bringing in thousands upon, like, he probably, for this festival, had tens of thousands of people. The biggest amount of people that I've had come to a party was like a block party that we did. We had 3,000 people show up. 3,000, maybe 3,500 people show up to a block party here in Charlotte. And it was lit. Nobody got hurt. Everybody made it home safe. Everybody was dancing. Everybody had a good time. Like, had dance battles. Had, what was it? Had a fashion walk line or whatever. We had a lot of really good, cool things. a lot of super high energy, a lot of songs that people really wanted to hear. Nobody got trampled. Everybody was where they needed to be. Had a lot of food trucks. Everybody got what they wanted. No issues at all out of 3,000 people. 3,500, 3,500 people. No issues. If we could pull that off with that, we could pull it off with 10,000 people too. You feel me? It's about organization. It's about being on one accord with your security. It's about knowing what everybody needs to do, being there for the safety of everybody involved so it doesn't come back to haunt you as an individual. That's what it all comes as. You feel me? And hopefully, Travis Scott will get another chance. I mean, but does he deserve it? I don't know. I'm not here to play God. I don't. If he does get another chance, if he does, hopefully he learned his lesson. Hopefully he'll become more of a professional when it comes to performances. Because at the end of the day, everybody just want to go home safe. But that's it for today's Live from the Underground. Hopefully I might come back and live stream later on with some Street Fighter. But right now I'm gonna go ahead and do something else. I got some other things I need to go ahead and do. You feel me? But we went on for an hour this time. Usually we go on for half an hour. But if you're still watching, feel free to hit a like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, man. I try to do one of these shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Been trying to get to Fridays. Might be able to do Fridays. But usually Fridays, that's for when I'm doing doing my reviews. But content constantly jumping. Hopefully tomorrow's show will be happier. Won't be as dark as this one. I feel for the families of everyone who's died and everybody that got injured out there, man. We need more professionalism when it comes to these kinds of performances, especially in our culture. But everybody, man, you guys have a nice night. Everybody, y'all be easy.